What's up, Kansas City? Stephen St. John here with another episode of Hot Mic with SSJ, brought to you by our wonderful sponsors, Patrick Carter, KCFarmersAgent.com, Farmers Insurance, Patrick Carter. If you want someone local that cares about you and cares about Kansas City, you get a hold of my man, Patrick Carter, KCFarmersAgent.com. Patrick Carter with Farmers Insurance will be there for you when you need him. He'll be there for you when you don't need him, which gets a little uncomfortable for everybody, but he's still there for you, and you can believe it. Also, our good friends at CBD American Shaman, CBDAmericanShaman.com. They got the gummies, they got the pre-rolls, they got the flour, they got the topical cream. They got it all at CBD American Shaman. And so this week, Todd Leabo's visiting the Grand Canyon right now. We saw a video of him talking about the Grand Canyon and how it's different than the Flint Hills and the Ozarks. Hey, Todd, thanks for letting us know that. If you're listening to this on your way back to Kansas City, we're all fucking morons. Thank you so much for letting us know that the Grand Canyon is different. Yeah, when I went to the Ozarks, I was like, oh, this has got to be just like the Grand Canyon. I find out today it's nothing like it. So thanks, Todd. Great information.
It's just a regular
available
canyon.
at 810 WHB's Facebook and Twitter and everything else. No idea. You know, I'm down there at Branson, walking up and down the strip. I'm thinking, boy, don't need to go to the Grand Canyon now. Same thing. Todd cleared it up for me, so hopefully I can visit there sometime soon. But we've got just Jake Gutierrez, who's wearing a sports jacket right now. No need to dress up like that, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
And so we were going to continue our conversation from last week. But first, I've been derailed here because you start talking.
Before we do that, let me tell you why I'm wearing a jacket.
Why?
Because I'd like to give this place a plug because it's a great place here in
Sports Radio 810? It is. We're the best.
The Welcome House, KC. It's a recovery.
Good.
It's a recovery house here in Kansas City. So I was at a fundraiser breakfast this morning. WelcomeHouseKC.org. It's a great place that is in this community, and it's a place where men recover from alcoholism and drug abuse. So if you have a family member or you yourself are struggling with that illness, WelcomeHouseKC.org. It's a great place that does a lot of great work here in the community, and so I'll just throw that out there.
WelcomeHouseKC.org.
Yeah.
All right, so then Marco was in here, Ben was in here. You guys were talking about GPT. Chat GPT. This is AI. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
So it's artificial intelligence chatbot.
Yeah.
And it's taking over the world.
I told you. Since I was a kid and watched Terminator, I'm not interested in this shit.
No, neither am I.
I don't want this.
Like
I saw what happened.
Embrace it.
Okay, I'll embrace it.
I mean, it's a dangerous thing that's been opened up.
So apparently, I'm supposed to fucking chat with this thing.
Open
right?
AI, yeah.
Okay.
We did some chatting.
So you told me to ask a question, right?
Yeah, ask it anything.
I said, tell me about Kansas City sports radio host Stephen St. John.
Right, there you go.
And it spits out some things that I was unaware of. It says Stephen St. John began his career in 1992. That is, I was in college.
Oh, hey.
Like fucking probably super high in 1992, so I don't know what I did.
So OpenAI, how this works is this takes, it scours the internet. It takes all the information off the internet and puts it into this place. So there's a lot of controversy on that data that's being used.
Well, that's wrong.
Right.
Okay.
So
I was up in Mo West in St. Joe. Trust me, I was not starting a career.
And I don't know anything about ChatGPT 4. That's the newest, latest that came out. Like they keep updating this thing, and you have to pay for 4.
I don't know about any of it.
That's 3.5 that you're using.
Okay. St. John has also served as a play-by-play announcer for high school and college sports. All right. Color commentator for high school football and UMKC basketball, men's and women's. All right.
Close.
St. John is known for his passionate and opinionated approach to sports analysis and commentary. And he has become a popular figure among sports fans in Kansas City. Now, here's what I'm interested in.
Let's dig
This
in.
has fucking made my day right here. He has won numerous awards for his work in sports radio, including the Best Sports Talk Show Host Award from the Kansas City Press Club.
Hey.
When the fuck did that happen?
Hey.
Where's my award?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
First of all, where's the Kansas City Press Club? Haven't heard of it. Second of all, if you got my award out there, give me my award. This thing says I won Best Sports Talk Show Host from the Kansas City Press Club.
What's the Kansas City Press Club?
I want my certificate, plaque, trophy, whatever you have. I want it, and I want it.
Let's see.
So I don't know when this happened.
Well, they have a Twitter handle.
Do they really?
KC Press Club.
When did I win?
At KC Press Club. Just at KC Press.
Can you contact them on my behalf?
They follow me.
I might have really won.
I know, right?
When did I win?
KC Press.
This would be a very nice feather in my cap.
Congratulations, man.
You know.
You want me to DM them real quick?
Kinda.
All right.
Says AI has informed us. Open Chat GPT has informed us that Steven won the Best Sports Talk Show host.
It doesn't say year.
No.
It just says that you've
won.
Can
you tell us what year?
Maybe it's like forever. Like they just gave it to you. And you're just the best ever.
That's what it says. So I want to know if I won, when, on what year. I'd like to look back at that year and see what I did to win it. If I could
if you're worthy.
Continue that. There's off the air. St. John is also involved in various charitable organizations and community events in Kansas City. There we go. I now like that. But I just want to know about this award that supposedly this AI, and you don't like this AI, do you? This artificial intelligence.
I'm not a fan of it.
AI.
It's not.
Why
it
not?
hasn't been accurate. It's close.
Give me something to ask it. I got to screenshot this, by the way. What is this? I want to know that I won this thing.
Ask it what's the position of need the Chiefs need the most in the draft for 2023.
I thought when you said what position. Oh, man.
Well,
what Ben? You got a question for this? I'll ask live on the air. Well, Ben doesn't want. Ben's afraid that this is gonna.
I could steal this from somebody else.
No, we're not. Let's not do that one. Let's not do that one. Okay. How about this one? Oh yeah. Hold on.
What do you got?
Who
assassinated John F. Kennedy?
That's what I'm doing right now. It's exactly what you knew.
Fucking CIA did. They've actually released it. They've admitted.
Why? I could have. They didn't need to release nothing. I could have told you that.
Isn't that funny though? The Pentagon released papers that the CIA admittedly killed a former president of our country, and it's just no one talks about it. Oh yeah, that that was 50 years ago. Does that not concern anybody? That our own country killed one of our presidents? Like that's kind of fucked up. I mean, there was always a conspiracy theory about it. But now they outright release papers.
The mob was involved too.
Well, I mean, the Federal Reserve was involved too.
Sam Giancana was involved.
He was about to back the dollar by gold, and the federal and pretty much do away with the Federal Reserve.
Some good shit here.
Are you?
I just said, was Lee Harvey Oswald framed?
Oh, that's a great question.
I cut right to it.
That's a great
bullshit
question
from me.
That's a great question.
The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963 and the subsequent killing of Lee Harvey Oswald have been the subject of much controversy and speculation over the years. While some individuals and groups have suggested that Lee Harvey Oswald was framed for the assassination, the overwhelming majority of historians and researchers believe that he acted alone in shooting Kennedy. Okay, then, so the overwhelming majority of historians and researchers are fucking liars.
Yeah, right. No,
okay?
He's leaning out the window, and he shot Kennedy leaning out the window of the book depository building, but yet Kennedy's head goes backwards.
And then they fucking forced Joe Pesci to have a fucking overdose and took his wig off. That's the movie.
Right. That's not. That didn't really happen.
That's to tell you. All right, I'm telling you. All right, I've watched the JFK movie many a time, and let me tell you, the best scenes of that movie. Number one, the late great John Candy when he's at lunch with Tom Hanks, and he gets mad at Kevin Costner, James Garrison, because he's asking too many questions, and John Candy's John Kennedy is dead as that crab meat. Good day to you, son. He gets all John Candy's all pissed off. And then the other one is Mr. X, played by Donald Sutherland. When they're over and they have that little talk and walk on the bench, and he's telling them everything, all the black ops and all the CIA. I could watch that scene a million times. That's a great scene.
I just watched a movie with Donald Sutherland and Kiefer.
He's terrific. Both of them are. And then Joe Pesci, of course, in a very played David Ferry in that movie, who was defrocked but he was also, they whacked him out and they made it look like he had committed suicide when he didn't.
Chat GPT bullshit.
The official investigation of the assassination. See, I'm not going to read this if it's just bullshit.
Well, I mean, people need to know that they can't.
The
trust
official
Chat
investigation
GPT.
into the assassination conducted by the Warren Commission, which was a farce.
Right.
They didn't even interview people that were actually eyewitnesses that were there, because they didn't want to interview witnesses that didn't want to toe the company line.
That
had
actually
anything
heard
different,
gunshots from the grassy knoll.
That didn't fit their narrative.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And thank God for Abraham Zapruder, who the man who owned a dressmaker, it was a dressmaker, a dress shop, who had his camera there and that filmed it. They didn't plan on that, and people think in 1963 that they saw the video right away. It was not released actually till years later on TV by who? Geraldo fucking Rivera. All right, that's the truth.
Yeah.
And then so people years later
fucking Geraldo
saw it and they go, oh, shit, that's not what we've been told.
Right.
I mean, in all seriousness,
right.
you didn't see it right away.
No.
So years later, people, all they had read about what the government and what people had told them about the John F. Kennedy assassination, then you see it for the first time, and you're like, wait the fuck a minute. Hold on here. But by that time, everyone's scattered, and a lot of people have been killed.
Right now, I'm wondering about the YouTube algorithm. Eating us.
I thought you were talking about like a new album, YouTube's algorithm. Like, I'm not listening to that. I'm not a big fan of them.
I'm going to slap you with a warning.
Concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Nope. Incorrect.
Although some conspiracy theories have suggested that Oswald was a patsy and was framed for the assassination, there's little credible evidence.
See, that's bullshit.
Okay, so now here's the deal. Chat GPT is full of shit. Is what I've learned.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what did the Pentagon release about the JFK assassination?
And Jack Ruby, with mafia ties, just happened to go and shoot Lee Harvey Oswald days later before Lee Harvey Oswald could talk.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's just one coincidence after another. I see you again. This is not what this podcast is supposed to be about, but these guys got me looking at ChatGPT before I don't even know what the hell it is. Asking about John F. Kennedy and my career, two vastly different things. Now you're asking about the Pentagon. We need to move on, though.
All right.
Wait, what else are you going to ask? Let's ask something.
It's thinking.
Is it?
In April 2021, the Pentagon released a statement confirming it has small amount of information related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It has not been made public yet.
Oh, I wonder why.
Right. The Freedom Information Act lawsuit by Rex Bradford, who is seeking the release of all government records related to the assassination. The Pentagon statement did not provide any details of the nature of the information it holds or when it might be released. However, it did note that the government has already released a significant amount of information related to the assassination, including more than 600 documents in a 2017 as part of a law passed by Congress. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963 remains a subject of intense interest and speculation, with many conspiracy theories surrounding the event.
On the topic of the movie JFK, one of my favorite moments of my radio career is when I had Ed Asner on the show, and I asked him about the scene where he pistol whipped Jack Lemmon.
Yeah,
and he actually
I remember that.
And he told me he kind of messed up and got a piece of Jack
hit him.
Lemmon.
Right,
actually whacked. Jack Lemmon literally almost got whacked out of the movie JFK by Ed Asner, which makes me enjoy that scene even more. Like, oh, he got a piece of him.
Well, you know what it reminds me of is you told me to watch The Gift, and I finally watched The Gift.
Yeah.
And the scene where James Caan actually beat the shit out of the guy that was the actor,
right,
for hitting Adrian.
Right.
So that was funny to watch.
Did you like that?
I did.
See, you're talking about
it's The Gift, right?
That's not The Gift.
The Offer.
The Offer. Yeah. Wasn't that great?
The Offer was fantastic.
You never told me you watched it.
I
Wasn't
did.
that good?
Awesome.
Didn't that make you want to immediately go watch The Godfather?
I watched
again?
The Godfather before. I watched the first two. Actually,
but
I watched
then after because you want to see that was behind that scene.
Oh,
and
it's fantastic.
The Offer is so fucking good. I was like,
The
Gift.
No, it's The Offer.
No, The Offer is about that series. It was on Paramount Plus. It's about the making of The Godfather.
Fantastic.
And how it was all the shit that went through. It was unbelievable.
The Teller.
Yeah,
kid.
Miles Teller.
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
wow, it has a whole new just perspective.
And the
of
super
the
producer,
Godfather.
Robert Evans.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about him you need to watch.
I love
But when
that
I was
guy.
in Lake Tahoe for the American Century
Bubby,
Championship,
Bubby, hey, Bubby.
Miles Teller was there. And so everyone's talking to Miles Teller about Top Gun. Because it had just come out.
Yeah.
And why not? Blockbuster, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
And so I'm up to him. He doesn't have time to do an interview. I said, can I? And so I was having this long conversation with Miles Teller's mother. And so he has a mustache. I said, I want you to look at my son, Phil. He has a mustache, too. I said, oh, he looks like him. And they're talking. And so I went up to I said, hey, can I just I know you can't do an interview. Get a quick pic. And we take a pic together. And I said, hey, I know everyone's talking to you about Top Gun, but let me tell you, I fucking love The Offer. It was fantastic. Me and my wife binge watched that thing. And I just want to tell you one thing. I go, Bubby, you're a star, Bubby, a star. And he laughed his ass off because it was great. I love that fucking movie. And he was tired of hearing, what was it like to be up in the plane with Maverick? He didn't want to hear that no more.
He wanted to
hear
about
Bubby being a star. That's exactly right.
Robert Evans, the guy who played Robert Evans,
fantastic.
Awesome.
And if you've ever seen Robert Evans, my mom used to read several books about him. If you go back and watch the documentary, he knocked it out of the fucking park.
Well, I mean, I'd heard the name Robert Evans. I knew very little of the man. But once I started watching The Offer, I started reading about the guy. I mean,
you ever heard the quote, the kid stays in the picture?
That's from Robert Evans.
Robert Evans. So there's a lot of bad shit he did, too. He was fucking partying. Let me tell you something. You hear about some of the parties going on in Hollywood, right? Ain't nothing to what was going on in Hollywood back then. Debauchery, all right? So now we arrived at this. Okay, since we're talking Hollywood or whatever, so Succession's latest episode. And I, so it's set in now. Logan's dead, and they're moving on, trying to figure shit out. It was interesting to see if you've watched the latest episode, the document that he had in his safe, that nobody,
hadn't been verified.
Right. And his cronies, they don't want to verify it because it says basically Kendall's the guy that's taken over. Nobody wants that.
What if it ends up in the trash or in the toilet?
Right. I don't like it. So anyway,
if you happen to flush it down the toilet.
But the question I love, and Succession does a great job of creating these discussion points and debates, right? And Kendall, you could just see the transformation of him. He's depressed, sitting on the floor, all fucked up at the beginning of the episode. By the end of the episode, he's getting ready to turn into his dad because he's already fucking his siblings and fucking everyone else. And so he's taking over, right? He's back to being successor. But there's one little thing that's kind of holding him back. That's making him question things. If you look at the document where it says he's the successor, there's like a line. And it either could be, it's either his name was crossed out or it was underlined, like, yes, he is my successor.
And they showed it.
Right, and they showed it, and we're all looking at it, and then there's one point he's looking on his phone, and he zooms in on it. He's trying to figure out.
In the bathroom by himself.
Because even though he's getting the nod, he wants to know that his dad wanted him to be a successor. So he's looking at it, and he's trying to decide, fuck, is this underlined or is this crossed out? And I kind of think it's underlined.
I think it's crossed out.
I think it's underlined.
Shit was great.
Right.
Let me see that.
Yeah, they kind of crossed out.
Because the bottom half, it's like half and half.
But Logan he's an old guy. He's not doing a perfect line.
Right.
But I don't know. I think, see, that's the great thing.
It wasn't clear cut. Like there.
One stupid little thing, that's all we're talking about. Was his name underlined or was it crossed out? And so then somebody, what was the tweet somebody sent me today because they knew we were going to talk about this, and it brought up a good point that I hadn't thought of. So I'm going to find this. So you think it was crossed out?
I don't know if when I first thought it, I was like, that kind of looks crossed out, and then I want it to be crossed out. So
I kind of want it to be underlined now because it pissed everyone off. You know what I mean?
Well, I just don't want to see that version of Kindle activated. I'm tired of him.
Oh, he's activated.
I know,
okay.
And that's what
Riley tweeted in, I wonder if Jerry and Carl and Frank underlined / crossed out Kendall's name before showing the paper to the kids just to create some division. Carl and Frank make no mention of it until the scene cuts after Jerry's brought in, whereas it's the first thing that Shiv says when she sees it. So, like, that whole time that they're talking about it, remember when they first...
Yeah.
There was no talking about the underline and cross out.
They were
no one said nothing.
They were just looking at the paper like...
They were talking about whether they should flush this thing down the toilet or lose it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a great point. Maybe they decide, you know what? We can't flush it. We can't just lose it. but let's fuck with it. Let's kind of do a half-ass underline cross out so that'll put some doubt in their heads.
I mean, they did a good job at that.
You can't put anything past these people, right?
No.
And what's the first thing you would see? Is it underline across? What did Shiv say?
Oh yeah, she's like, let me see that. That looks like it's crossed out. But why would they here's that's an interesting conspiracy theory. Are they willing to risk all that I mean, because they're at the end. Of course they are. They're at the end though. I mean, they just want their golden parachute. They just want to get the fuck out.
No, because Carl did have it, but now he wants back in. Well, because remember he was talking about getting out. Then he goes, well, if Logan's not going to be here, then maybe I can be back,
Right before he shit on Tom.
Yeah, he wanted it.
You're right.
And now he wants back in.
You're right.
Boy, did Carl drop a big shit on Tom in every possible way. But then Tom had a great line when he was actually trying to be a good guy to console Shiv. But he's trying to console Shiv a little bit. And she's just like, fuck you.
Don't touch me.
And he's like, don't. You're going to regret it. You know, but like in the moment, like, hey, I'm actually trying to be. What do you say? Let me be a good guy here. Or let me
be of service.
And so he's trying to console her about that and everything.
Like, I'm just here to be.
But the most hardcore scene of that fucking movie or that episode. Who what's the assistant's name? I fuck up everyone's name. Carrie.
Oh.
And so and then you got his Marsha.
Fuck.
Who Marsha's a liar.
She sucks.
Well, she goes to Kendall. Who's she telling right away? We still had intimate phone calls every night and talk. They didn't fucking talk.
She told, didn't she?
Kendall.
Kendall. It was Kendall. It's Kendall. It was Kendall.
Off somewhere else.
Yeah, and then he told the siblings, and they're like, "That's gross."
She comes in and she's trying to make it seem like they were still close confidants, and I don't think they were. No. And boy, she didn't waste no time of getting rid of his assistant / girlfriend. And she drops her. She's down there. We were talking about getting married. He said he was going to make plans. You got to find papers. He said he was going to make plans for me. Please find the papers.
Roman. I mean, like that's
Rome showed some act. That's why I like him.
That's what I was saying last week about like there's a little bit of compassion in Roman.
Right.
And
did you need to do that? He goes, Mark, did you need to do this?
There's none in Shiv and there's none in Kendall.
Because they don't care.
Right. So it's like Roman has a piece of him that's grounded. Right. That's human.
And then all that part is like, was this necessary to do this?
Right.
And then she's just fucking rattled. And then Marsha,
take her out back.
You take her back to her
back door.
To her small.
Take her to the subway so she can ride it back to her small apartment.
And boy, she's just so because that's kind of who pushed Marsha out.
Like I mean,
and she comes back guns a fucking blazing.
I knew last week that her
I don't like her at all.
Not at all. But I knew that she was gonna have a role. I knew she was gonna have a big role when this shit all went down. I was like, she's gonna try to get her hands.
But you'd have think he'd have made. I mean, he was with that assistant long enough, Carrie, that he'd have made some kind of plans for her or something. That's why she's.
Here's the thing: even if he did, don't you think she would have gotten rid of it? Like probably. She already went through all the shit because she packaged it up in a nice little bag for her.
The paperwork or
Yeah.
But don't you think she was? I mean,
I would think that something would have been in the safe.
Didn't she probably have a hell of a salary? Like, how much does a billionaire's assistant make?
6 figures minimum,
right? Like she ain't making minimum wage. She's probably
she's taken care of.
She's still living in a little apartment like Marsha described. And the other great part is how Connor buys the apartment.
That's the next thing I was gonna say. The negotiation. She's like, I'm going to put this on the market. And he's like, well,
It just shows he don't give a shit about nothing else. He's just trying to get his piece.
I was hoping to get between $60 and $70 million. He goes,
what else? $63 million done. Really? And then the whole time that they're supposed to be grieving the father,
it's a fucking
then all of a sudden Willa is, we're gonna have to change this. We're gonna move this. Yeah, and they're already fucking redecorating.
We need to find out which are the load bearing walls.
Right.
Like which walls are load bearing here that we can knock down.
And he's the one that's crying. Oh, he didn't even care about me, and all he's doing is redecorating this fucking guy, Logan's
his
apartment.
Mother-in-law, a plate full of food.
And how they were all talking about her. What was it? What did What did Rome say?
You know she can go back, right?
Could she get any more on that fucking plate?
Yeah, and then like 2 seconds later, it spills everywhere.
Like boy, this is really a big moment for her, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which, you know,
Hey, yeah.
if your daughter marries into a billionaire, it is a big. Guess what?
Yeah.
If one of my daughters marries a billionaire,
Cha-ching.
I'm gonna be the fat ass with a big loaded plate in that fucking apartment. They're gonna be talking about me. Does this guy not know they can go back to the buffet? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Y'all act like a fool. You bring me in there,
Trying to pick out your room in that house.
Exactly, fucking. You goddamn right. It would have been picked out already. So I don't know. Well, like, what are they, like? What now? Like, what's gonna happen now?
I mean, how they left it was like, fuck you, Kendall, man. I'm all about like.
He's gonna go whack everyone out.
Well, I mean,
Shiv, and guess what? Shiv caved.
Yeah,
she caved.
She
I know it was under
choice.
pressure, but she fucking caved.
Yeah, she should have said 3 or none.
Right.
3 or none.
Because her and Roman and Kendall turned against her real fucking fast.
Roman was like, 3 is too many.
Yeah.
You know? But if I was Shiv, I would have been like, Kendall, you've already fucking had your chance. It's me and Rome.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and Rome, you had your chance, and then you sent Dad a dick pic, and so that kind of
he got back in.
Right, but still, you know, they fucked her.
Yeah. They did,
right?
But she should have stood up. I mean, she was very spineless in that.
Oh, that's the other thing I like. So they bring Sandy in the wheelchair.
Oh God,
who hated Logan Roy, and he has this smile on his face,
grinning.
And the mom or his daughter is trying to say, "Oh, that's just his face after the stroke."
Right.
And I don't think it is.
No, hell
I
no.
think he's just there smiling because Logan's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's like,
dude was stroked out. And he was smiling his fucking.
And then remember when Shiv falls down, and then she goes, "Quit smiling! It's a fucking wake!
It's a fucking wake!" Yeah.
I guess she was actually. Did you see? She was actually pregnant when that fall happened. They didn't, and she didn't tell them
in real life.
Yeah, and they were worried that 'cause she fell hard. You don't want to fall down.
No.
But that was a great scene.
That was also
a great scene
something
too.
like that was like that call that she got before any of it started.
Yeah.
Like I knew.
And is
that
she
was
going to tell Tom?
Well, not right now. She's not.
I like Tom more. Even after this episode, I just
you like Tom of Service.
I like
Tom of Service.
Because Tom got just fucking annihilated by Carl.
Just decapitated.
Holy shit! But the whole time is when he's throwing his hat in the ring, he's still just like he's got this fucking this fish taco.
Yeah, Jerry was like, like you really look pretty bent up, out of shape. But even finishing that, you gonna finish that fish taco? And
right.
Like, oh,
that was fucking hilarious. So that's Succession. That's the wrap up there. That's what we liked about that episode. So we had some people that reached out after your appearance last week, and it didn't dig in enough to like how things are going for you.
Okay.
And because we kind of got off the rails there, and so like update people, and we'll get this right. I had a couple of people that wanted to know the update on you, like what your status is in this country, like based on things you had said in the past. And I'll give the exact fuck. This guy DM'd me and I said, "Oh yeah, we got to talk about." Don't forget, we talked about so much shit in the other podcasts that we have to get a follow up.
You're talking about my political status.
Here we go. Mr. Darnell, said, "Please have Jake update everyone on his private U.S. national process on hot mics." So see there?
Yeah, no. So
please speak directly to Mr. Darnell.
The process. So there's a lot of moving parts to the process, but I'm recorded. I'm a private American national. I'm not a U.S. citizen, right? So
this makes me mad, but I'm just going to listen to this.
That's fine. I want to be really careful in what I say here.
You should be,
because as I've gone on through this process, I want to keep a lot of this private because that's
because you're a private citizen.
Because I'm a private American national. So what I say, is this is a public venue, right? We are on your podcast. That's
Ben tells me not very many people listen or watch, so we're good.
Okay,
go ahead.
Well, it's still
Spill
public
the
record.
beans.
It's still public record. So we talked about the benefits and the taxes, and so
you don't have to get into that. Just what's your status?
I am a private American national.
So what does that mean?
It means I am part of the republic that was founded by our forefathers, right? So what most people don't know is that there are currently, as we sit here today, 2 governments that are our country, that make our country.
Shit.
No, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's say it out, and it says it right
I
there.
don't want to.
I'll say
You
it.
can't. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
the United States of America.
Okay, stop. Right? That's the United States of America.
Thank you.
Then what's next?
You say it.
And
yeah,
to the republic
for which it stands.
Right.
One nation under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
Right. So they separate the two governments right there.
Ben liked that, by the way. We're gonna recite other things for you later, Ben. We'll do the Lord's Prayer here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So they separate it right there. The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
I'm not in the mood to challenge anything, so I'm just going to let you get this off your chest.
It doesn't need to be challenged. Like, so that is an acknowledgement that there are two governments that are running this country, right? We founded the United States of America as 13 states. They were their own nation. That's the republic, right? But what has happened is that our country has turned into a democracy. Right? Now we are a democracy. We are no longer a republic. And how that's set up is through our birth certificates. Right? We lose our national standing, right? So if I were to fill out paperwork, which I've done, right, and it asks what's your nation? And we've talked about this, this is what brought it all up.
Do you ever
right?
say the nation of domination?
The nation of domination. No, so I'm a Kansan. That's my nationality. I'm a Kansan. I'm a U.S. statesman.
Mexican American.
I'm Mexican American. That's my heritage.
Okay, so we gotta present this in a way that's palatable for the viewer and listener. Okay, here we go. There's Ben. He's an American citizen.
He's a U.S. citizen.
He's a U.S. citizen. Do you agree?
That's what he is.
Okay, and what are you?
I'm a private American national.
Tell me, we're teaching this to a 5th grade class. Tell me the differences between Ben and Jake.
Okay, so I'll do this in the probably the simplest way I can think of it.
That's what I want.
So
what are the differences
when we're all three of us were born, right? We were born as Americans, right? I was born in Kansas. Ben, you born in Kansas? Boston. So he's Massachusetts, right?
I was born in the great state of Missouri at General Hospital.
Right. So when we were born in those states, right? That was our nationality. They take a black marker, ink, they put it on your foot, and they stamp it on a piece of paper. It's a document. It's called Certificate of Live Birth.
And I agree to none of this. I'm just letting you know.
That's fine, yeah. No, so how I would say that means they're putting, and this is just for observational ideas. So they put a red coat on you because you're American, right? You're a Kansan, you're a Missourian, you're a Massachusetts, and whatever it is. So they put a red coat on you. And then what they do, right, is they get you to fill out paperwork. Your parents, you both have kids, you had to fill out paperwork.
Sure.
Right? And you had to apply for a birth certificate, right? At that point in time, they put a blue coat on you and you become a U.S. citizen, which trumps your red coat. So I'm a U.S. citizen now. It succeeds your American status.
But as you are men walking the streets, what are the differences in what you are and what he is?
Well, I mean, the reality is...
You did this for a reason. So
the reality is, as a U.S. citizen, you don't have any rights. You don't have the Bill of Rights, and you don't have any constitutional rights.
Ben does not have any rights?
No, he has privileges granted by the U.S. government. They're privileges, right? At any point in time, the government can come in, regardless of what you do, they can come in, and they can take your children from you. They can take them from you. You say you're an unfit father. Why? Because they deem.
But he's not unfit.
He's a great father. He's a great father. I'm saying hypothetically, right? What I'm saying is that you don't own anything and you don't have any rights.
I don't want the government in my bedroom.
I
heard someone say that on TV the other day, and I'm willing to bet that's my theme now.
I'm willing to bet Susan doesn't either. Right?
She might rather have them than me. I don't know.
The point is that you agree to this by contract. You say, I'm going to give up my rights and I'm going to allow you to give me privilege.
But what's different for you? Why have you what do you do or don't do that he has to do, or what's different?
I mean, the difference is that I have constitutional rights. I have all my Bill of Rights and I have my Constitution.
But how does it come to play in your everyday life? What is different for you now than before you made this transition?
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
There's a lot of words, but like, what's
what I'm
different?
saying is that they can mandate something government-wise, and you'd have to follow it because it's a mandate, not a law. They wouldn't have to pass a law. They could make a mandate, and you would have to follow that mandate because they say so, right? They didn't have to go through the law, right? Now, if there's like,
have you ever been on a mandate?
I mean, I don't really.
I'm sorry. You said it 3 times and I couldn't fucking stop. I want to say it so bad.
I wish I had a rim shot. That's
Go
good.
ahead.
No, so what I'm saying is that you have privileges that are given to you, that are granted to you by the U.S. government, right? And how that's set up is they register it's called a straw man account. And if you look at the difference between your certificate of live birth and your birth certificate, they create an entity that's called a straw man account. And that person, that entity is registered with the county because that's where your birth certificate goes. So you are now property of the U.S. I mean, and why this all happened. Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm trying to understand this, man.
Because so they set up an account, your Social Security account, right? It's a trust, right? They set up a trust, and you're the trustee of that trust. And the U.S. government, the corporation, it's a trust run like a corporation that was set up after the Emancipation Proclamation, right? So why this all exists is because when Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, right? It was a great thing for this world and mankind. But what happened is those free men and free women, they didn't have a nation. They didn't have a state. In no states, they were like, we're happy that they're free, but we don't want them in Kansas or Missouri. We don't want them in our nation because, for whatever reason, they'll be voting on our laws. So what was created was a U.S. citizenship, right? And so all those men and women that were free became the first U.S. citizens. And their District of Columbia was set up. And that's when the U.S. government corporation, that's when the democracy was founded and started.
How does this affect how you live your day-to-day life? Like the change you've made. What do you do differently than the Jake that used to produce here at 810?
What do I do differently?
Or not do, or what? Like
everything I like. Okay, so I'm.
You know what I'm saying? You went through all this shit.
I'm privatized. I don't own anything. Like my car out there, I don't own my car. My trust does, right? So I don't have to pay taxes on that because it's in my trust. It's private. It's a private. It's in the Jacob Patrick Gutierrez trust. This is why,
I don't know if I trust what you're saying.
I get it, but this is why it's such a big deal for billionaires to release. That's why, they're so we want to see Donald.
Oh, they're all kind. They circumvent every fucking thing.
Because it's trust law. They do this process. Like billionaires don't pay any taxes because they do this. They set it up like this.
Can you get a speeding ticket? That's my favorite question.
Can I? I mean. They can try to give me one.
If you get on 435 and say, Jake, you got to get your ass here quick, and you're going 80, and they pull you over, what happens? What do you say?
It's an interesting conversation that we have. Shit. And no, they can't give me. I don't enter into contract with them.
Don't you just take the ticket and say,
No, I don't. Well, it depends on how far it goes, and it depends on how knowledgeable the officer is that's arresting me, because most state troopers and most sheriffs are aware of this process. They're aware of American statesmen. Most municipalities
look at the blank stare on Ben's face.
I mean,
but I'm trying to get.
I get it though. So I mean,
okay.
This is crazy talk.
Let's say you expose yourself to me right now. Can I call and have you arrested for that?
Well, I mean, can you prove that I did harm to you? And if you can, then yes, I could be arrested for doing harm to you.
Okay.
Right?
I could say you did.
Because that's a crime. Right? A crime, according to Black's Law's Dictionary, which every court system in the United States of America goes by, a crime is when you do harm to a person or entity. So the only way I go under the jurisdiction of a Circuit 1 or 2 court is if I commit a crime. So if I get a speeding ticket, right? So let's play your scenario out. If I get a speeding ticket, I have a fee schedule, first off. So if the officer's license and registration.
Okay, that's right. He walks up there, tests with license and registration, please. Wait. What's that smell?
I don't do that anymore,
good.
officer.
Good. Because I've heard things.
It's all natural
Can I please
deodorant. Palo
don't
Santo.
fucking tell me that shit.
Oh, yeah.
That shit don't work.
Yeah, it does.
You got fucking body odor, don't you?
No,
What do you mean all natural? What do you mean all natural? Like what?
It's all
like
natural
made like
deodorant.
oats and grains and shit. Like what?
It's
what
Palo
do you got?
Santo.
That sounds like a guy that Sporting KC just signed. What do you got? What do you got under your fucking arms? Don't lie to me. What is in there?
It's a deodorant.
But what is it? What's it? What is it made of? What's in there?
All natural.
I know it's all natural, but what is like herbs and spices?
No, I mean,
it's like fucking chicken or like
I'll
what?
tell you, I don't know.
Okay, fine. Just go ahead. Go back to being pulled over. You keep throwing things out there that I got to question.
Well, we need to write these things down. And
right.
That's
right.
Next time we can go into my deodorant of choice.
Well, I'm just telling
in my charcoal toothbrush.
Okay. So you've been pulled over.
I'm being pulled over. They're telling me that I'm not abiding their speed limit, right? Because it's not a law.
You'll say, officer, why did you pull me over? Say you were speeding.
Well, I first would say,
you an
how
80
how
and a
you doing
65.
today, sir? I'm here.
You'll be cordial, right?
I am on your side. I'm on your side.
Treat these people well. They're out there
I
protecting
need them.
us.
We all need
yes.
them. I'm
a friend of the EMT, of the firefighter, the police officer, and if you ever pull me over, remember that I support you and I love you.
I am the same way. Like I am not an I'm not an enemy of anybody. I'm on the side of even the U.S. corporation. I want to comply with them, but I have taken my rights back, and I'm a private entity. So if I were to be pulled over, the officer would ask for my license and registration, and I would inform him that I'm not commercial driver. I didn't contract to commercially drive. Because that's what you do. Like, have you ever read?
You know they're gonna get pissed off, right? You know that you're just poking the bear, right?
No, because I don't have it done yet. That's one of the things on my list. But there's a ID for me, right? And it says
I'd like to see this ID.
And once I have it, I'll bring it in. I'll bring in my passport and my ID.
I want to see all your fucking credentials.
Next time I'll bring in my status paperwork. I brought in the manuscript.
Oh, we're gonna take a look at that here in a minute.
So they would.
Oh, this. By the way, if we keep doing this, there could be the crossover episodes of all crossover episodes, right? You remember when sometimes Fonzie would end up on Laverne and Shirley and the ratings go through the roof? Lezak does his podcast here in about fucking 15 minutes.
Oh, boy.
We do a little crossover, get him in here. He'll ask you some fucking questions and get him going on.
Oh, Gary's going to be here? Oh,
yeah, how about that?
That's great news. So the thing is that I'm not driving a vehicle. I'm not driving a vehicle.
What the fuck does that? What does that mean?
It means
when
you drive a vehicle, you are commercially agreeing.
See, this is where you lose me. If you're driving a car, you're driving a fucking
vehicle. No, I'm traveling. I'm traveling across this country.
You're driving the fucking car.
No, I'm traveling. I'm operating a motor vehicle.
If you're out there with a knapsack or something walking, you're traveling.
I'm operating a motor vehicle. I'm not driving. I'm operating a motor vehicle. That's
semantics here.
It is, but the thing is that like I don't have a contract with the government like you do and you do. They're called driver's license, and no one reads that small print. No one reads that shit.
I'm pretty sure I'm fucking driving when I'm driving.
You are driving because you've agreed to that. You're a commercial.
But even if I didn't agree, even before I had a license when I was 13, when I took my dad's car, I was driving.
No, you were operating.
I got fucked up for it.
You were operating a motor vehicle. That's what you're doing. Like it's a language. Like language is important, and the courts know that. That's why lawyers make so much money because they know the language.
I want to see all your paperwork next time.
I have it in a binder. I'll love to bring it in.
Speaking of paperwork, what's in this?
So last week you're like, does this book really?
And rightly so.
I get it. And I said
the timetable that I was given has not been met, and I'm not trying to put pressure on you.
I brought my manuscript. And I don't want you reading it.
Let me feel the. Can I just make sure there's words on here?
You can flip through it.
One time, because I'm not gonna say which kid. One time, one of my kids handed me, my essay's done, then I looked in there, it was all blank fucking pages.
Like you can pull off, like open one of those tabs. No, you can.
Am I in that?
Just read
book?
a chapter.
Am I in this book?
Yes, you're in that book.
Find my name in that book. I want to know.
Just read like a chapter. What's the name of a chapter? Pull up it. Yeah.
My dad's calling me.
Oh shit.
Hello.
Senior.
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast with Jake right now. Trust me, you don't want anything to fucking do with this deal right now. You don't want. Hey, no, do you? Do you want to know? I mean, I've got lots of updates. He says he'll call you later. Okay. He's got lots to tell you. All right.
I want to ask him some questions about his buddy down in Springfield.
He couldn't hang up that phone fast enough.
Sovereign
okay, goodbye.
citizen.
All right.
So that a chapter you pulled open? Which chapter is it?
My Dragonfly.
Yeah, it's a chapter about my mom.
I'm just gonna read just what the first. Can I read the first part?
You want to read the poem?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you read
the first part. This first part.
Yeah. So the story behind that, what you're about to read. So my mom, she had a long battle with cancer, right? She had a long battle with cancer, and so when she finally transitioned, she knew that she was leaving behind 3 sons and Bob. You know, so she planned out everything. She planned out her wake, her funeral, pallbearers, the Bible verses that were read at her funeral.
I like this one. Not finished.
It's finished on my computer.
Oh.
It's not printed out.
I'm trying to find. I don't want to get too sad. I don't want to like. If that's something emotional, I don't want to.
No, I mean, so that was inside the pamphlet of her wake. She picked.
Oh, okay.
She picked that poem. She picked that poem to be read, and so
My Dragonfly.
yeah, that's a poem that she had read at her wake. And so that's how that chapter starts. It's a chapter about my mom.
Well, that's real.
Yeah.
How about My Last Dance at the Fair?
Yeah, that's
What's
about.
that? There we go.
That's about my last drink. My last drink was at a place called the Thayer Hotel. It's the only hotel.
Where's that at?
It's on the campus of West Point. It's the only hotel that's on West Point. It's a historical site.
Here's my excerpt.
Okay.
Tell the name of the book.
Samurai of Soul.
Samurai of Soul.
By Jacob Patrick Gutierrez.
The 2 nights prior to that night, I was at Kauffman Stadium watching my hometown team, the Kansas City Royals, lose Game 7 of the 2014 World Series to the San Francisco Giants. That was the end of what had become basically a month-long bender.
You witnessed it, right? You witnessed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was part of that bender.
Yes, you were.
I think I did some of the bending. Game 7 of the 24th, basically a month-long bender that started, funny enough, on September 29th at a Monday night Chiefs versus Patriots game in which my buddy Greg Kopp and I decided we couldn't miss the AL wildcard game happening at the same complex the following night, so we bought tickets to the game that ended a 29-year playoff drought for the Royals. So basically, from September 29th to October 29th, which was the night of Game 7, I was more or less, but mostly, more drunk. Now, that's a book I want to keep reading.
Yeah.
That's why I picked that.
Right, okay.
And we'll stop it there.
Yeah.
That's now this is what I call a page turn. I want to hear next about Jake one of the peaks of Kansas City sports history on a month-long bender. I want to know what happened. There you go. I picked the right one.
There you go.
Oh, well, hold on. With that in mind, you could say I was less than 100% when I showed up for my job Friday afternoon on the campus of West Point. You were fucking hungover.
Oh, that was brutal.
You were fucked up.
I was
home of the Army in New York. How'd you feel showing up that day?
Oh man,
what would you say your condition was in?
Well, it was funny because like I was on my crew was so I worked NFL, right? And
I picked a good one, didn't I?
You did.
People want to read this now.
Yeah.
I want to read about this bender.
So my NFL crew, one of our CBS games got flexed, and our game was the one that got flexed. So our crew went and worked. So instead of our crew doing that NFL game that got flexed,
right,
we went and did the Army Air Force football game on a Saturday. So I mean, so it kind of happened within 2 weeks, right? And so I show up to the trailer on Friday, and like everybody knew I was a Royals fan because the 3 weeks leading up to it, the
Absolutely.
playoffs, and so one gal was like, "Man, that must have sucked. You were there? Ouch!" And then everybody was like looking at her like this poor guy. Look at him.
Give him some space. What the fuck, lady?
Thanks, Alana. But yeah. So I felt horrible, but not horrible enough to drive. So in my drinking, I got to West Point, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I did my work for that day, and then I went to, I think it was during lunch. We were released for lunch, and I was like, okay, I need to go get my drinks for tonight. And I go to, like, this bodega, and all they had was beer. And I was like, hey, man, like, don't you guys have any booze? I need some liquor.
Yeah,
like,
give me the hard stuff.
I'm going to have to drink 30 beers to get where I want to get
right.
tonight. And he's like, well, there's no liquor stores in this like anywhere near here. Like you're gonna have to drive like an hour away. And I was like, okay, where is that place? And so I drove 55 minutes one way and almost 2 hours round trip to get my last drink, which was a liter of 100 proof Smirnoff vodka.
What the fuck?
That was my last drink.
Was that worth the 2 hours right there? I don't doubt it. I remember that, Jake.
Yeah, no,
that's nothing. That's an easy trip.
That and a large pizzas. I finished my work.
Where was the pizza from?
I don't even remember. That's a great question.
You had to wash it down with that Smirnoff, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But yeah, that was.
When you hear that, like, does that repulse you to even think about consuming that much alcohol in that state? Like, you're like, oh fuck.
No, because that was just regular for me, man.
Right.
Like that was just.
But like, not for you. You're a new man, and doesn't that just sound like, oh my god, what the fuck?
I mean, no. I like I said, I wish that was my reaction to it, but it's like that was how I lived. So it's like that was just normal.
Like, if I drink a bottle of Smirnoff, I'd be in the hospital.
100 proof.
Oh,
100 proof.
I get it. I know. All right. I feel like we've reached a certain. Gary Lezak's here. He's putting pressure on us to finish this entertaining podcast.
So the book exists. Samurai.
I showed it.
SamuraiOfSoul.com.
So now I know there's something to reserve. Yeah. Tell people again.
SamuraiOfSoul.com. Go check it out. You can go reserve your copy. Just put in your information, your email. This book is going to be done on God's time. What's
God's time, you think? What's the time?
Ask him.
Well, I don't think he'll answer me.
You know what God's language is, don't you?
What is that?
Silence.
I was going to guess prayer, but I guess I'm wrong about that, but that's fine.
That's God's language.
Yeah, that's usually my wife's language. Every time I come.
You know what? She's full of God.
Yeah, I'm sure she is, and she thinks I'm full of shit. So we're a great partner. Gary's got a T-shirt that says "Humankind be both."
I like
human and kind. Hey, see, hidden messages.
Gary,
all right,
I love Gary.
And so there it is. So tell people again the website.
SamuraiOfSoul.com.
Anything else you got coming up?
Not right now.
And then give a plug again to where you were just at today for the breakfast.
WelcomeHouseKC.org. They do great work.
Very important to you.
Very important to me.
So check them out maybe and volunteer or donate or get involved.
Go there. You can make a donation. They're building a new house that opens in July that accommodates more men. It's a house for men in recovery.
Don't go spend your money on a big pizza and Smirnoff. Right. Donate it. Yeah. Right, do something good.
WelcomeHouseKC.org.
All right. Are we good?
I think.
I feel like there's something else. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
That was a good, and how much
time?
No, we're almost to an hour. That was a good excerpt from that book.
Yeah,
and it makes people want to read it more.
So I'll keep reading. Maybe as we go along. Maybe you.
Whenever you come back, I'll read what you pick. You pick a selection.
No, you pick. I like how that. See how organically.
I'm trying to. I want to read the selection I'm in. No. I got to find out what you fucking wrote about me.
I wrote nothing.
Because I feel like you've given me no information, which means once it's in print, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm gonna say, "Oh, you."
There's
son
nothing,
of a bitch.
but there's no stories or anything. It's just your role in my life. That's it. Like how you brought
me
in.
Any compliments?
Well, I mean, I think it's it's complimentary. You brought me in. I think there's
you reference me as handsome at all in this thing.
No,
like
but you know
very handsome.
I do realize that after I've left, like. This is what I did to you?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Your beard?
No.
Like I turned your beard gray?
You know, and then like there's like one guy on Twitter like, you're like, no fucking shit. I used to dye my beard.
What?
Inspector fucking Clouseau.
No way.
Hey, Sherlock, I'm glad you're able to put two and two together and figure out I dyed my beard.
No, you didn't.
Just for men. I
never knew that.
Just for men. Absolutely, I use just for men. And you want to know what the reasoning? People think, you know what? after his back surgery and after whatever else, he must really decide. No, here's what fucking happened. I'll tell you what fucking happened.
Better.
Two things. Number one, they raised the price by $2, and it passed it. You know what? Fuck you, CVS. I'm not paying this to dye my beard. And then number two, after I fucking had back surgery, it was like,
don't put that chemicals.
I don't want to put chemicals.
Yeah.
I was too tired to. And all of a sudden, I looked at myself and I said, you know what?
That's a better look. Here's
what I thought, and this is what I believe. I'll be true. I earned these fucking gray hairs.
That's wisdom.
Because let me tell you something.
That's wisdom, brother.
People, I've been through it.
That's wisdom.
And right now, I got twin 14-year-old daughters. I love them with all my heart, but they're putting me through it.
They're going to finish that off.
I was taking a nap yesterday, and I woke up to fucking screams and accusations. My wife's involved. There was a door slamming. I had one daughter repeatedly slamming the door only for one reason. Because at one point, I don't know if it was going to be the 6th or the 7th slam, it was going to wake me up. And she was going to keep slamming the, oh, did I wake you up? I go, no, yeah, you just slammed the fucking door 10 times. Well, good, now that you're up, she got in and then she was in my room. Gray hair.
It's white.
It's white.
You're white.
Yeah, you know what? Good. I earned it.
It's your white wisdom.
It ain't all wisdom, all right?
Yeah, it is. You earned it.
A lot of stress in there. And maybe a couple of giant pizzas and some.
How do you get diamonds? How stress?
Huh?
How are diamonds made? Stress.
I don't know. Back in the day, my dad got diamonds a much different way, so we can talk about that on another episode.
I gotta call your dad.
That is Jake Gutierrez. My name is Stephen St. John. This has been another episode of Hot Mic with SSJ. Until next time, the microphone is off.
Now listen, I'm not making fun of the Flint Hills or the Ozarks or anything we have in the Midwest. The Grand Canyon just hits a little different.